Hey everybody, it's Quicken. As some of you may know from yesterday's video, my camera is stuck on Zoom. So I just wanted to film 5 Fact Friday right before I sent it away to get fixed up or whatever. I did not want to forfeit on 5 Fact Friday. I love 5 Fact Friday so much. I did not want to miss out before I sent my camera away. So here we go, 5 Fact Friday. Let me adjust this here. And I know like some YouTubers like are this close to the camera all the time anyway, but it feels a little weird. I want you to be able to see my fun shirt. So the first question I got was, can you please talk about Joanna Newsom on 5 Fact Friday? So Joanna Newsom, where do I start? So Joanna Newsom is an artist. She creates music, harp music, piano music, and she's a composer. You may know her because she recently got married to Andy Samberg, so sometimes he incorporates her into some of his skits, but way before that, she was just Joanna Newsom to me, and I love her. She means so much to me. Her music changes me, and it just fulfills me, and I love it so much. I'm so close to the camera. But that's how I feel about Joanna, and as some of you may know, Joanna Newsom, as I said, is going on a US tour. She announced her European tour, and I called John on the phone just screaming, and I was like, if she's going to Europe, she's going to the US, she has to. And lo and behold, a couple weeks later, she announced her US tour. What does that mean to me? So I already have plans to go to 5 of her dates on the tour. I'm going to Chicago, I'm going to go to Brooklyn, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, and DC is a maybe, so that's 6. And I'm just super excited to see her. It's been like 2 years since I've seen her. It's been 5 years since she's been to Philly, 5 years since her last official tour, and I'm just more than excited to go. So I'm gonna fly to Chicago. Hopefully I can find a place to chill in DC. I think I have a friend there, or I can do Airbnb, or I could come home that night. It's not that far from Philly. DC and obviously the like Seattle shows are the ones that I'm like, but yeah, it's kind of bad timing because John and I are buying the kitchen for our new house, but yesterday I was like, I'm gonna go Joanna Newsom tour. And that's where that went. So in the next couple months, you may see me selling everything I own on my Depop, but just know it's going to a good place. To our kitchen and to Joanna Newsom tour. So that's Joanna Newsom tour. If you are interested in Joanna Newsom, if you're interested in Joanna Newsom, her new CD Divers is coming out on pre-order, I think on the 18th. And my CD is supposed to come to my house on the 28th. It's gonna be rad. It's gonna be rad owning a CD. There we go. Sorry, someone was listening to Usher right outside my window for like 45 minutes and can't have Usher on the channel or else I will be muted. So this question I got, my boyfriend has asked me to move in with him, and while it's exciting, I'm nervous. I've had a lot of roommates but never lived with a significant other. Was the transition for you to live with your significant other hard? Thank you. So I love this question. Obviously it hits home, and I've been in the same situation. So living with roommates, I will say, is completely different than living with a significant other. And recently I've been thinking to myself how much better it is because both of you and your partner, work towards a similar goal. Whereas sometimes when you live with your roommates, it's kind of like everybody all against each other. Or, you know, you and your roommates all work towards a specific goal. I've lived with roommates before, and my experiences with roommates are sometimes things get a little stale. If you've been living together for a long time, sometimes things about you that were cool and interesting in the beginning, like, become your downfall. I know at the end, my roommate wasn't really attached to me as much as she was in the beginning, and vice versa. And before, it used to be like we would plan little parties and my parents would come over and we would make dinner and things like that. And then towards the end, I just never left my room. Ever. Ever at all. Never sat in the living room. would make coffee in the kitchen, never left my room. But that's just something about me, and I know a lot of roommates look for somebody who they can interact with and do things together with and go to the show and go shopping and share the food shopping budget and things like that. That's all great, but I'm not always necessarily that roommate. I think like just emotional things that I go through kind of suffer or kind of damper my ability to be somebody who is like an active roommate and did you get the mail? Do you want to take out the trash? No, I'm crying in my room again. Remember? Stuff like that. And responsibilities sometimes kind of get hard. When you live with roommates, it's kind of just like, I don't care if I have a messy bathroom. And I'm like, I do care. Guess that means I have to clean it. Ha 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 ha. And I remember very exclusively, I had just moved into the big house in West Philly that I used to live in, and I had only lived there for a few weeks, but I had like painfully noticed that the bathroom had just like never been cleaned. And probably about 6 people lived in the house then, which, you know, makes the rent really cheap, but things around the house sometimes suffer. And I had the afternoon off. I was having friends come over. It was one of the big reasons I wanted to move out because I was getting really into Tumblr and I wanted to be able to host people at my house so I could travel too, vice versa. My friends were coming in from New York and I was like, let me clean this bathroom. Let me really show them that like, hey, I live on my own. So I was on my hands and knees. I scrubbed the tub, the toilet, the sink, everything. I was so happy, and you would think that people would share that with you, but I remember my friends came over and the next morning someone was like, hey, I used your bathroom and there's like period blood and period panties hanging over the shower. Do you know about that? And I was like, what the fuck? Like, I spent all this time cleaning the bathroom and you just like squatted down and had your period and was like, whew, it's natural, and left. But you have to live with those people, so you have to be like, that was weird how you did that. So sometimes when you live with roommates, you don't all have the same goal. When you live exclusively with your significant other, the goal becomes kind of clear. It's like, we live together and things become easier. Like, the bills become easier, or you split the bills and that becomes easier, and that's like your goal. You split responsibilities. Like, I always pay for the grocery bill, John always pays for the gas for the cars and like the insurance and whatever. I probably get out kind of easy on that because I just buy the groceries, but sometimes they're really expensive and things like that. But I would say something I struggle with is like keeping things tidy, just because similarly to my roommates, I moved into a place that John had already occupied, so he had already had like his ways about him, and for me it was a brand new place and I like to keep things like sanitary or cleaner. Like, I change the sheets a lot, I do the laundry a lot, things like that. So it was a little hard to move into a space that he had already like understood and called his own and already had his routines for, just because I was kind of like, what's that trash pile? And what are we doing about it? And he was like, oh yeah, don't look at it. I'm like, he's like, don't look at it. So then I cleaned it. And I found a couch under there. I'm not kidding. I think I have a clip. I found a couch under there. But, you know, keeping things clean is hard just because he already has his ways and I'm expected to clean a lot more just because it is his space that I occupy. And I can't wait until we live in our own house where we can start over and we're not, like, living by, like, some weird rule that he has. So little ways that I kind of combat that, because it was really present when I moved in, like this kind of corner is definitely all mine. Before filming, before it was my filming corner, it was still like something I could look at and see all my things. And the bathroom, I have specific places for my stuff in the bathroom. Just like little things that I can remind myself are mine are really important to me and kind of keep my like individuality present, especially because we do share a room. Some of my friends are couples that live together and they have separate rooms. And at first I was like, are you guys breaking up? But it works out really well for them. And I could understand that really working out too. I think it's really important to have things that belong to you. Talk to your partner like, can I hang a picture on the wall? Or can I do this? And remind yourself that you are just as present and you guys aren't like one entity. You're not like relationship. You are still individuals. And learn to coexist within a space, but not necessarily be like all about each other. Like, there are times when I'm sitting at the computer editing and I can look over and John's like on his phone and we can just coexist that way. And we have shows that we watch together and then we have shows that we watch apart and just like different routines that really work out. I think it really helps though that John and I are cut from the same cloth. Like, we can spend a lot of time together completely silent, just no words, and that really works out for us. He's not always like meh, 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 meh. And I have tried to live with a partner before a long time ago, and I think our fatal flaw was we constantly needed to engage with one another, whereas like if he wanted to do something, like, I would have to sit there and watch. I couldn't like go somewhere and like do something else. But like that kind of helped me learn how to live with John and learn how to live with roommates, because I learned like how important your independence has to be and how present it has to be. Like, no sharing the same toothbrush, or, oh, can you go downstairs with me? I'm gonna go downstairs. Like, go. Do you make other plans? And I don't always follow this. I really don't. I'm really bad about this. But make plans without them. Get out of the house. Like, I'm gonna be in Chicago for 3 days and I'm leaving John behind. Little things to just like keep your independence intact, I think, really help the strength of the relationship, just so you're not so completely submerged with one another. But honestly, living with John has been the best like coexisting situation I've ever had. I feel like we really get along, and like I said before, working towards a common goal is so important. Like, John and I split the groceries so we can feed each other, and we split utilities so we can be happy together. And I think that that's great. I think it saves a lot of money, and it's also just like, when I lived with roommates, people, they were like, that's my pot on the stove, and if you're gonna use the stove, you can't use my pot. And I'm like, but I'll rinse it. That's my pot. Okay. Like, if John came in this room wearing all of my clothes, I would be like, baby, alright. So I think that living with a significant other is great, because the goal is the same. But you lose some things, like yourself and your integrity, so you have to keep working to keep them present. That's how I feel. Do you think it's weird for a 19-year-old to get multiple tattoos in a year? My family thinks I'm going too fast, but I go to amazing artists and sometimes one-time chance because the artist is traveling. 1 second. You are preaching to the choir, by the way, so I fully support you and agree with you, but I also completely empathize with you. When I turned 19, it's when I got a lot of my tattoos, a lot of my arm tattoos. And I remember being in Forever 21 with my grandmom and her saying, that's enough. We see that you're tattooed and that's enough. But grandma doesn't understand that Jesse Preston only comes to the United States like twice a year. So my advice for you is, I don't see anything wrong with getting a lot of tattoos when you're 19. As long as you are affording them and getting them responsibly and thinking them over and you know what your goal is going to be, I think that's great. I don't have a problem with that. You know, some people will walk into your life and they're tattooed overnight. Like, sometimes that's a little crazy, but who knows? You hit the lottery, you sold some eggs, whatever. Now you're tatted. That's all great. But if you're having an issue with your family, and I'm sorry to say this if you guys think that I'm like holy and pure and I don't know, I hide some of my tattoos from my family. And I know they don't mind. I know that they don't mind that I have tattoos, but sometimes it's just so much easier for me to head home with a long sleeve shirt on or, you know, leggings, something like that. Sometimes it's just so much easier to visit them without tattoos. I don't always want tattoos to be the subject of conversation, and, you know, tattoos make people think. And I was listening to NPR the other day and they were talking about like court appointed lawyers and the fees required to pay them back. And I remember hearing an interview from a judge who said, you know, if the person comes in with a Gucci belt and 2 arms full of tattoos, I know that they have money and they have to pay back their lawyer. I remember hearing that and being like, I couldn't afford a lawyer right now or a Gucci belt, but I do have an arm of tattoos. Don't give your parents any ideas like, where's their money coming from? They have money for all these tattoos. Anything can come across somebody's mind when they see the tattoo. Look, are you dating a tattoo artist? Like, are you in a gang? No! Keep the thoughts out of their mind, and usually they can digest the tattoos a lot easier. Yes, you run into the risk of you go to the beach with them next summer and all of a sudden you're yatted, but sometimes it's just a lot easier for them to digest it all at once instead of one at a time and another one. No, and you want to share things with your parents, you want to show them the tattoos, you're proud of them, I understand, but our parents are from a different generation, and sometimes that is their downfall. Sometimes they don't understand. Oh, you're always on your cell phone. Yeah. But I do hide tattoos from my parents. Even, you know, they have full access to my YouTube, my Instagram. They can see anything whenever they want, but sometimes it's just a little easier for me to be tattoo-less in their presence. So I'm sorry that my advice is you could hide your tattoos from them if they're having a really hard time with them. That is my advice. I'm really sorry. I know that that's like, I don't know, not great advice to get from somebody, but it's something that I definitely do. Like, my family that I only see once a year at Thanksgiving, I don't want us to talk about my tattoos. I want to talk about the house and school and what they've been up to. I never want to talk about my tattoos. It's just something I keep to myself. And you can hide them pretty easily. I mean, if you're getting a neck tattoo, you probably have to have a conversation with your parents about it. But other than that, I completely support it. Get tattooed responsibly. Make sure your money's right, you know, but do it. I know all about once in a lifetime tattoo opportunities. Take them and wear long sleeve tee. So the next question I got was, what were your grades like in high school? And I kind of put this off. I feel like I got it like 2 weeks ago because I felt bad because I didn't want to set like a bad example, but I can't really say that I had the best grades. I was only ever on the honor roll once, and it was actually really weird. And I was nominated for like a prize, and we had a pep rally, and I had to come down from the bleachers and speak. And I remember waiting like 50 seconds, hoping that they would be like, oh, she's not here. But someone was like, Amanda. So that was the worst. And then I was invited to go to like a pizza party inside of our clock tower at our high school, which I did not know you could access. And then with all of that, I started to feel really weird because I felt like I felt like there was a lot of exclusionism for people who do exclusively get good grades and who are always on the honor roll, because I remember eating pizza with some people and they like came in, ate the pizza and left, and the whole time I was like looking around like, wow, I've never been here. Can I have 2 slices? This is great. And everyone else was like left. Like they do it every year. So I did have a lot of weird feelings about that. It was like a strange experience for me because when I was in high school, I worked full time and I worked at McDonald's, and I also like didn't have a car, didn't have this, didn't have that like I felt like a lot of students also had opportunity to access, and I was never in any like after school programs and things like that, things that kind of drive like intellectual integrity. I was never really involved in that. My parents didn't graduate high school. I felt like I was constantly put at a disadvantage, and I really didn't appreciate the way that the honor roll students were honored. And I get it. You earned it. It's beautiful. But like I said before, my previous 5 Fact Friday, there was a really large class division at my school, and some of us were never given the opportunity to prosper. Our school didn't provide free tutoring, things like that. And if I ever needed to stay after school for something, I had to go to work. So I worked through high school, I worked through college. Working at some point just came first. And it's sad. When I got to college, though, my grades were really important, especially when I lived in Texas. I had no friends, and I spent a lot of time at the school library. As I get older, I have really split feelings about grades. Sometimes I wish that I would have tried harder and would have got a scholarship, and maybe it would have given me a lot more opportunities. Things like that. Maybe I could have afforded to go to a school that could have helped me and could have captivated me. But then, on the other hand, sometimes I'm really split. I have a lot of feelings about college, a lot of feelings about college campuses and their safety and how they treat women and things like that. And I'm also happy for the place, like, where I am right now and the school I go to now and the possibilities of my future career. I had a hard time, like, usually connecting with my classes and connecting with my classmates. And when you exclude yourself, you really have to depend on yourself. And when I was 16 and 17, I was not my role model. I did not depend on myself then. I did not have the acceptance and personality and comprehension that I have now as a 25-year-old. My school, everyone around me got whatever they wanted. So I didn't really have a ton of motivation, but please do your best. Please do not, I didn't want to answer this because I didn't want to be like, well, Quicken didn't get good grades and Quicken only ate pizza in the clock tower one time and she's fine. Please stick to whatever routine you were doing. If I could go back in time, I would try harder. I'm just scared about like what future it would have given me if my parents would have ever met. Whatever. So the last question I got is, will you ever provide Quicken merch or a Quicken flash sheet so we can get Quicken tattoos? So Quicken merch. So I've thought about this sometimes, and I think it would be super cool, even if I just had my own to wear by myself. But I actually, one of my tattoo artists is like a typographer, and he does do branding for brands. So I actually did tell myself if I hit 100,000 subscribers, I will put the money into having him create a brand for me and create t-shirts and stuff. And by brand, I kind of just mean like a typed out logo that he does like very artistically and beautifully, because he's also like a sign maker and stuff like that. If you want any of his information, I would gladly give it to you. He's amazing. He does like a lot of the local businesses here in like North Philly, Fishtown, Northern Liberties area, and he'll rebrand like storefronts and make them incredible. He did like a butcher shop that like obviously I was a little into after he did it. But he did all the signage for my favorite one of my favorite coffee shops, things like that. I told myself that I would reach out to him at 100,000 subscribers. Obviously, it would be expensive to get his services, but I can't imagine it a different way. I wouldn't want it a different way, unless, you know, the Quiet Cool contest goes really well and somebody sends me something amazing and gives me permission or like royalties or whatever to use it, Avi. But until I hit 100,000 subscribers, until like I know it's real, I don't want to put too much of myself out there. Creating a brand and creating t-shirts and stuff is expensive, and I want to do it right, and I want to do it locally, and I want to get my people involved in it. I wouldn't want to do like an outside company or like anything like that. I would want it to be in Philly made, to give to you guys. A little bit of me, a little bit of my tattoo artist, everything that could encompass Quicken, I would love to provide. So yeah, I thought about this, ladies and gentlemen and people, but it's a little far out of my reach. I'm still a very small YouTube channel. I'm still like a pretty small YouTube channel, still a small YouTuber, and I still have like so much ahead of me, and I don't want to like jump ahead and like create merch already, and someone's gonna come to this channel and be like, how does this girl have merch? I don't know. So that's my feeling on Quicken merch. If I reach my goal and get 100,000 subscribers, like that would be amazing, and I would love to give back and do these shirts right. I don't want them to be like a chibi cartoon of me holding I don't know, YouTube sign. I want them to be nice and well done and printed on soft t-shirts and something that you'll reach for in your closet and not just something you wish you never bought. So that's how I feel about that. Quicken flash sheet? I don't know. Probably not. But maybe. I don't know how strongly people feel about me as if to get a tattoo about me. I've never ever thought about that before. You are witnessing me thinking about it for the first time. I don't know about that, because I don't want people to get the same tattoos as me. So I don't know what they would be. I don't really have a symbol. And I know a lot of people get on me because my banner is just me eating Ethiopian breakfast. But that's like me, I don't know. The Liberty Bell. So yeah, I don't know. But that's 5 Fact Friday. Will I ever put out t-shirts? Def. And I'm gonna do them right. They're gonna be super chill. But I'm gonna reach my goal first. And even 100,000 subscribers these days isn't really that much. But I'm stoked. That's all it takes. Hopefully this contest goes really well and we can make it to the top, people. But yeah, this is 5 Fact Friday. Thank you again so much for everybody involved. Thank you for everyone who dug the nail tutorial. Let me know if you have any questions about the contest, Quiet Cool contest. Follow, like, subscribe. Thank you so much. I love all you guys. And until next time.